Hi guys, how you doing? So this is going to be a very quick video and it's going to be about testing your exceptions. So you can do that by using a JUnit rule and an expected exception. So how do you do that and why would you do that? So when I read some code, sometimes I've seen people and they, at the top of their method, they just say expect this exception. Well, that's okay, and maybe that fits your scenario, but what you can use is a JUnit rule and you can bring in an expected exception and you can say in your method at the top you can write I expect that this exception is going to be thrown, and you can expect that its clause or its cause is going to be of this certain type, and you can say does the detail message contain this string, does it contain this? So you can build up these really nice finer grained tests to test your actual exception. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You know, I like producing these content for you guys, and let me know what you want and I'll set it all here. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Okay, so I'm going to take you through how you can test your exceptions, and while I'm doing this I'm going to take a test-driven development approach to this. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and create your project. I'm using the Spring Starter project, and it's going to automatically bring down the Spring Test dependencies. So that's going to bring down the likes of JUnit and Hamcrest and Mockito for us. So I'm going to go into source test Java. I'm going to delete the package name there, and I'm also going to just delete the package com.philip_start_JUnit. And what I'm going to do is go into source test Java, now create a new class, and that is going to be in the package com.philipstart.JUnit.validator, because we're going to create a validator class, and that's the package we're going to be testing, and we're going to create a number validator class. So we just append test onto the end to indicate that this is the test for the number validator. So go ahead and click finish. You'll see the validator test. Well, in here we want to go ahead and write a test method. So you write annotation at test and public void test. This is going to be our first test, but there's no test class. So this is where you go ahead and you actually use the IDE to create the classes for us, because remember we're doing test-driven development. So we know we want a number validator, and we know we want it before the class. So this annotation is going to execute this method before our class runs, our test class runs. So we're going to say public static void before class, and we're going to say number validator equals new number validator. Of course, number validator doesn't exist, so we're going to hover over this and I'll say create class number validator, and we want to change test to resources and leave everything the same because we want the same package structure under source main Java. Sorry, not resources, source main. That should be main, source main Java. Finish. Now you'll see the class generated, and that's what we want. But of course, there's no methods to this, so what do we do for methods? Well, if you know what you want to test first, and we're going to create a method called validate, and it's going to take an integer as its parameter. So we're going to say input of 5 throws illegal argument exception. So that's going to be my test name, and I'm going to write number validator.validate, and I'm going to pass in 5. So again, I'm going to use the IDE for our heavy lifting. So I'm going to say create method validate, and instead I'm going to make this a final int. I'm going to change this to number so it makes sense, validate number, and inside here I'm going to say if number is greater than or equal to 5, which is what we want an illegal argument exception, we're going to throw a new illegal argument exception, and inside of that we're going to say number is greater than or equal to 5. So you want to save that, and that's our first small iteration. And now we're going to run this, and we're going to see a red line because we've thrown an exception out of that and we haven't caught it. So what we want to do is go into test, and this is the easy way. You write I expect an illegal argument exception, and you can test that. So now it passes. But now what we want to do is actually go ahead and take this one step further, and if we have detailed exceptions that we want to test, what we're going to do is create another test class. We're going to say public void input of 10 throws illegal argument exception. So I'm going to show you now an alternative that you can use instead of the expected annotation value. So again, we're going to call the number validator, and instead of 10, instead of 5, we're going to pass in 10. And now you should see this field, because it's greater than 5, of course. Instead of using the test expected, what we're going to do is bring in Hamcrest, and we're going to use that with JUnit Rule. So a rule is a great annotation that you can use and allows for a flexible addition or redefinition of the behavior of each test method in this test class. So if we go ahead and create a rule, and we can bring that import in, so you're going to see org JUnit Rule, and the rule class we want to bring in is called ExpectedException. So expected EXPECT ExpectedException, and what we want to do is say ExpectedException.none, and that's going to basically say we do not expect any exception to be thrown in each class. So inside this, we're going to say exception, and in this test, we're going to say exception dot, and now you can see what we have. So we have expect, and we're going to say we expect an illegal argument exception, and we're going to save that, and we're going to rerun the tests, and of course, small error, live coding. Going to rerun that again. Now you see the test passes because we expect an illegal argument exception, and it has got an illegal argument exception. Now how can we take this further? So what you can do is have we look at the other methods. So exception dot, and in here you can see expect, and there's a matcher. So you can say you can put in a Hamcrest matcher in there. But what's really interesting and what I'm going to show you now is the expect message. So in the expect message we can say hello, and this is going to fail because it's going to analyze the message inside the exception, the illegal argument exception, and you can see that it's not hello, it is number is greater than or equal to 5. So if you go ahead in here, and sometimes you don't want to go to this level of detail in your tests depending on the complexity of your software, and now I changed that and it's saved and it run, which is pretty cool. So it's really cool that you can expect a message, but what else can we do? So if you look at the exception and you look at expect message, well, you'll see that there's a matcher there, and that's a Hamcrest matcher. So you want to bring in the Hamcrest matchers in. So we're going to bring in the static import. So import static org.hamcrest.matcher. And we want to bring in all of the methods there for this demo example. So if you go into matchers, you can start to see here all of the different methods there are, which are going to provide us with matching capability. So there's one called contains string. So that's going to make sure that we have a string that we pass in is contained within the actual exception. And there's also ones called the likes of starts with, which is one I like. So it starts with a certain value. So if we go back to our test, we can write in here starts with, and in here we can write number is greater. Save that. Go ahead and rerun the test. You'll see it passes again. What happens if we write a wee s in there? Starts with graders. It fails. Okay. What else is there? We can have as I just said, you can say contains string. So it contains string. Save that. Run that. and instead of number is greater, we'll say or equal. Rerun that. That's cool. Or maybe we want to say exception dot, and we're going to say expect cause, and this is going to expect the cause of our exception. So if we want an exception and it contains a cause, and we want to actually test that cause, we can use this. Pretty cool, right? So what we want to write is, and we can say our expected exception cause is another illegal argument exception dot class. So you can see that. And is deprecated, I forgot there, so is going to be pretty cool. So the shortcut to frequently used is. So now this is going to fail because we expect an illegal argument exception to be inside our number validator exception, which is false. So in here we're going to say illegal argument exception cause equals new illegal argument exception. Save that, and we're going to pass in the cause to our exception, and we're going to rerun the test. I need to reformat that and go back to the test and run that. So now you see it passes. So this is one way where you can use the JUnit rule to really check the detail behind the exceptions. And again, it's up to you how you want to go about that and to what level you want to do. You know, maybe just using the test expected is enough. But sometimes I like to go a little bit further and say, okay, what about the message inside that? What does it start with? Maybe what does it contain? Or maybe it's something really detailed that I need to know the cause of that exception, and I'm expecting it to be for this specific reason. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was useful. If you found it useful, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try and produce these videos as regularly as I can, and I hope you have a great day.